in your life, a moment that you look back on and say, this was the time when I challenged myself to grow, to go outside my comfort zone, to a new country, learn about new cultures, a challenging professional experience that you go through, and most importantly, become part of a global community of people who are passionate about making a difference on everything that is not going the right way these days, critical social issues. So, why do we want to do that? We believe as Atlas Core that talent is everywhere, but opportunity is not. We think that's unfair because young people are held back by barriers. Some of them are very visible, like travel barriers, others are invisible barriers. And we want to create opportunities for you and your talent and potential to thrive and become what you can become. On the other hand, there are so many organizations, mission-driven companies and nonprofits that are looking for talent, that are looking for you right now, and they can't find it. They lack some of the diversity that they need in both their staff, in people, but also in the experiences and the way they think and act. And that's where you can make a difference with them together. So we think of this opportunity as giving in the first place. We call it give, give, give. You, in your application, you volunteer and you get a small stipend and you challenge yourself during that time. Let me tell you, it will not be easy. And we tend to say other people can do easy things. We're looking for people who want to do hard things and challenge themselves. Secondly, the organizations pay a cost share for the majority of the expenses that it takes to organize this fellowship. And thirdly, we at Atlas Core, we raise the rest of the money and we get everything done in order for you to thrive in that experience. Let me end by sharing and handing back over to Zach an anecdote of someone who reached out to me, an alumni this week. And he told me, I got invited to a conference and I was able to present my work. And I would have never gotten this experience and this invitation had it not been for my Atlas Core experience. That makes us happy. We want to create more of those opportunities to see you thrive. I hope you apply and we get to meet you online and in person soon. Thank you. I'm handing back over to you, Zach.
Thank you so much. And I believe we were having some issues with our live stream earlier. So I'm going to go ahead and share why we are here today. So again, thank you so much for joining us today. Bidjan just touched upon why you should apply for the fellowship. And we are launching 3 different initiatives within the Atlas Core Fellowship: the environment and climate change, operations, human resources, and Southeast and East Asia. So we're really excited to have you here today to talk more about that. And as a reminder, this information session will focus on these 3 initiatives we are currently recruiting for. We chose these initiatives to prioritize applicants within this profile since they are underrepresented in our candidate pool. So I'm very, very excited to talk about these initiatives today. One of the first initiatives I'd like to talk about is the Climate Change and Environmental Fellowship. And in this fellowship, Atlas Core seeks to expand the number of fellows placed in full-time roles with mission-driven organizations working on initiatives that protect the planet, combat the threat of climate change, and promote clean energy and sustainable ecosystems. And within this issue area, we are looking for candidates with at least 2 years of professional experience in 3 specific categories: sustainability and environmental social governance, environmental protection and biodiversity conservation, and clean and sustainable energy. On the website, we provide a brief description of what is meant by these activities, but they can be widely interpreted, and we defer to you as an expert in the climate change and environment space to describe how your professional experience fit within one of these categories. Great candidates for the Climate Change and Environmental Fellowship will also have skills in project or program management, policy or advocacy, or partnership building and business development. So please pay particular attention to the description of each skill on our website as each skill is defined there in detail. And as a reminder, again, as you have questions as we go throughout and explain these different initiatives, or just about the fellowship in general for either Bidjan or I, feel free to put your question in the comments section. So if you think you're the right fit, in the application, you can mark social issue area 1 on your application as energy and environmental issues. On other related social issues such as food security and agriculture and wildlife and animal welfare should be marked on your application as a secondary area of experience. And again, within climate change and environment, we're looking for those who have skills in program and project management, policy and advocacy, or partnership building and business development. So you should mark that as skill 1. We know that there are a lot of researchers out there who have done great work in the environment and climate change issue area. However, while research and report writing are important skills, we are not recruiting research fellows. Research and report writing could be a strong secondary skill for policy and advocacy applicants. Our second initiative that I'm excited to talk about here today is the Atlas Corps Fellowship for Operations and Human Resources Professionals. And this type of fellowship, fellows will serve at mission-driven organizations to support, develop, and improve operational frameworks, procedures, and processes in the areas of talent management, human resources, strategic planning, and knowledge management and operations, and supply chain and logistics. These fellowships will also support the Atlas Corps mission of strengthening U.S.-based organizations by enabling a fellow to contribute their international experience and expertise to organizational operations. Within this area, we are looking for candidates with at least 2 years of professional experience in the categories that I mentioned before: operations, human resources, knowledge management, and supply chain and logistics. Again, on the website, we provide a brief description of the types of experience and examples we're looking for in roles within this skill area. And the application process enables you to describe in your own words how you fit within these categories. Regardless of the focus area, competitive candidates will describe a time that they've implemented a change to a process that resulted in a significant operational improvement. And finally, I'm excited to talk about the Atlas Corps Fellowship for Southeast and East Asian Professionals. This initiative will support the efforts of US-based organizations to bring an international perspective from the region to their programming and operations. Within this area, we are looking for candidates with at least 2 years of professional experience in a variety of skill sets that you can find on our website. And we also have a list of specific countries that are eligible listed on our website. So those are the 3 different initiatives that I'm really excited to announce and talk a little bit about today. And I also want to tell you more about the process for applying to the fellowship. You can visit apply.atlascorps.org to not only read about the application process, but to read about one of these 3 initiatives to see how you qualify. And the type of experience that we're looking for. When you apply, it's a multi-step process. And the first step is just to start getting your account registered to fill out an application. The application requires a copy of your undergraduate transcript or diploma and 2 references. Attaching a resume or CV is also encouraged, and you may be asked to submit samples of your work to provide evidence of your professional skills. If your application passes review, then you will be invited to an interview. And then if you pass the interview, you will be considered for potential placement at host organizations across the US. Now, our priority application deadline to be considered for programs starting in as early as this October or next January is May 31st, 2022. And if you're unsure if your professional background is a best fit for one of these opportunities, then feel free to email your resume to apply@atlascorps.org with the subject line of the fellowship initiative name that I mentioned: human resources operations, climate change and the environment, or Southeast and East Asian professionals. And we'll even let you know if you should apply or not. Now, it does take a couple months to get through the competitive application selection process. So get started early and submit as soon as you can. This will be the first of several webinars that will be done throughout April and May. Our next webinar will focus on the fellow's experience and tips for putting together a successful application. Our live session will be via YouTube on May 5th at 9 o'clock a.m. And again, that'll be a wonderful opportunity to hear from our fellows as they reflect on how they developed their careers and how they benefited professionally from the experience within operations, human resources, and climate change and environment. So that's a very exciting opportunity. And just hearing about their journey is inspiring. And again, to learn about our future webinars, you should check out our website at apply.atlascore.org and register your application account. Again, if your question is not answered there, then you can email us at apply@atlascore.org. I am now excited to go to our question and answer portion of this and hearing any questions from our audience that you may have as part of this initiative. So I am just going to see what type of comments we have and what questions have come up, but feel free to ask any questions in the comment section.
Can you apply as a writer? I see.
So there we go. That's one of the questions. I think writing is a strong skill to have, and I think that has to do with report. Report writing is typically what we look for, and so yes, but I think it would be within one of these three initiatives. Are you a good writer and good at operations or human resources, or do you have a strong skill set within the environment and program management? So yes, we do think it's important to be a strong writer, but also combining that with other work experience that you have. I see another question about sort of the regional focus of the initiatives and what countries are eligible. So I do want to answer that question too. While we do have an initiative focused on Southeast Asia and East Asia, our operations and human resources and environment and climate change initiatives, they're open to anyone worldwide. From any country outside of the US, you are eligible to apply. Just wanted to clarify there. What type of experience proof do we need? Again, so when you fill out the application, you will need to provide your bachelor's degree, which is your educational proof of experience, and also need to just write your employment history that is most relevant to the fellowship and can build upon your application. You would put that in the application. So that and you may need to show for certain skill sets different work samples that you may need to submit with your application. I see a lot of questions from semifinalists and standing out for placement. So we do have a pool of great semifinalists who are eligible to be considered for placement with an host organization. And for the semifinalists that we have out there who are on this call, no, you do not need to reapply for any of the initiatives that we just talked about. We have on our website, we have tips for putting together an exciting application or even updating your application. So I think that it's important that you are able, this goes for applicants and semifinalists, able to explain throughout your application the skill set experience that you have. So if you're looking to get a fellowship and you have that experience within operations human resources, ensuring that throughout your application, you mention that in your bio section, in your work experience section, and then in your skill section, showing that you have that experience and you'd be a good fit for that type of initiative. So that is the big piece of advice I give to any applicants or semifinalists who are interested in this type of initiatives. Lots of questions coming this way, which is very, very exciting. Can you apply as an undergraduate? Unfortunately, we do require 2 years of full-time work experience and a bachelor's degree to meet the visa requirements for to bring leaders to the U.S. So if you're still in school, this may not be the right opportunity at this moment for you, but we do encourage you to, keep in contact with us. And when you do meet those minimum requirements, to apply for the fellowship. Let's see. So organizing an
And
all
Zach, just to
alumni.
add to that, you will also
Yeah.
benefit more if you have professional experience. That will benefit the organization you serve at, but it will also benefit you because you already bring an experience that you build upon.
Yes. Thank you so much. Um, and a master's degree is not required. It definitely can be a plus. I think going off of Bijan's point, I think having a master's degree gives you more experience that you can offer to a host organization, and it sets you up even to better develop your leadership during your time in the fellowship, but it's certainly not required. Only a bachelor's degree is required. I see another question about having certificates from international institutes like MBA or non-for-profit certificate or project management certificate. I definitely encourage you to put any certificates that you have in your application to show that you have, that type of experience. For example, if you have a project management certificate, definitely include that in various sections of your application where we ask for it, and in that skill section. The application deadline is on May 31st. So that is the end of next month. So May 31st is the deadline. We do accept applications all year, but for these initiatives, you want to apply by May 31st to have your applications considered in a timely manner. Let's see. I see some questions about organizing an alumni world conference from class one or regional meetings. This sounds like it might be from an alum. We did just organize four alumni events, two in Russia and two in Palestine, which was very, very exciting. But yeah, who knows?
In Tunisia, there was also one in Tunisia.
And Tunisia, there was one. So, I was looking into how we can connect our alumni network. Again, I think one of the benefits of joining the fellowship is that you join this network of over 1,200 leaders from across the world, from so many different countries. And I think when the fellows talk about their experiences in the second webinar, they'll highlight the diversity of people in the fellowship program and who they met not only during the fellowship, but the friendships that they continue and the connections they continue to have afterwards. Let me see if there are any other questions here in the chat. I see one about observing that some of the questions were changed in the application dashboard and if you should update that. There is a question that was changed for our operations and human resources candidates who put that as their skill in the application. So you will get an email with a request for you to update that question. But if you're semifinalist, just wait for us to email you for any request to update your application. But if you're currently applying and in the midst of applying and have not submitted your application, then yes, you want to adhere to whatever questions are currently in the application. We did make revisions to our application to, in fact, make it a little bit shorter and take out some of those questions and make some of the other questions a little bit more central and a little bit longer in terms of what we're asking for. Amazing. Again, I see more questions about country eligibility. So I want to emphasize that generally, yes, anyone can apply from any country to the fellowship. The only caveat there is that in some countries it is not as easy to get the visa to come to the U.S. We have a little bit more information about that on our website. I see another question about the Banyan Impact Fellowship. So that is a special partnership that we had with the American Indian Foundation that we launched earlier this year. And we are currently no longer recruiting for that, although we may next year. And again, for South Asian countries, so I assume that is Pakistan and India. If you have experience within the environment and climate change or within operations human resources, then you would fit within one of these initiatives. If you don't, I still encourage you to start your application and be in the system when we are, focusing on your skill set. So definitely sign up for updates, or even you can apply now or start that process. And yeah, great questions. Just checking to see if there are any other questions here. Thank you so much for your active questions and participation today. I like to see interest from everyone around the world.
Zach, let me ask you, because you play such an important role in reviewing applications as well. What was something that really surprised you about the last application round? Something you saw, an anecdote or an experience?
Yeah, I think that is a great question. I think when I was reading some of the answers from our Indian applicants for the Banyan Impact Fellowship, which again is a partnership we have with the American Indian Foundation, I was inspired by how these applicants talked about their experience in creating change from the grassroots level, and being able to build bridges between countries like the US and India, and just really supporting from the ground up. So I really appreciated reading about that, and their passion for joining the fellowship and working towards that goal. So yeah, that is an experience that I took away from reading that application. So I think that goes to show that you want to figure out a way in your application to be inspiring for us to know what is the social impact you want to achieve in this world, and what is your professional journey to get you there. I think that is usually what fascinates me. And Bijan, what is a story that you've heard about what a fellow is currently doing or doing as an alum that you remember, from talking with having the opportunity to talk with so many during your time here?
Oh, there's so many, but the one thing that really impresses me, and this goes to the global community, is how in recent months and weeks, our Russian alumni have stepped up and supported each other during a difficult moment. And some of them are in real trouble because they stand up and share their views, and some got even arrested, and some had to leave the country. And how the community is coming together across Russia, but also across the globe to support each other, that really impresses me. And then I get, as I mentioned to you, I get all of these messages, and I know you do too, from alumni who go on to new opportunities to thrive in their careers, making a difference. And they reach out and they tell us, I wouldn't have been able to do this without the Atlas Corps experience. And that's what makes this job wonderful. So there are too many of those to mention a single one, but they happen and they keep us motivated to do what we do.
I definitely agree with that too. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. Great. Well, I don't see any more questions. So we'll wrap up here. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending our webinar today to hear about these exciting initiatives that we have launched. So just a couple of reminders to close on. Our next live session will be on YouTube and Facebook on May 5th at 9 a.m. EST, and feel free to go to events.atlascorps.org for more information on that. I will put that in our comments section right now. And then go to apply.atlascore.org to read more about these special initiatives to figure out if you are eligible or not. And if you're not eligible for these specific initiatives, you can still go ahead and apply if you meet our basic requirements for the fellowship. And again, Bidjan, thank you so much for sharing your experience and words of inspiration today about why candidates should apply for the fellowship. And thank you everyone for being here today on the call. We really look forward to reading your applications and hearing about your social impact stories and professional journey.
And we mean look forward to reading. We do enjoy that.
We do, yes. Great. Well, take care, everyone, and have a good day.
Thank you, Zach.